Rwanda is one of the world's smallest countries. The country has an area equal to about 25,000 square miles, which is approximately the size of West Virginia. Located in Central East Africa, it is bordered by Tanzania, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Uganda. Because it is close to the equator and is extremely mountainous, it goes through long periods of droughts, which restricts the already limited amount of clean water. Currently, Rwanda has a low Human Development Index rating, but it is also growing at an 8% growth rate, which is one of the fastest in Africa. Rwanda's GDP breaks down into 35% agriculture, 15% industries, and 51% services. With a total fertility rate of 4.46, Rwanda is one of the fastest growing countries in the world. The Rwanda population is about 13 million. Rwanda is currently in the stage 1 of the demographic transition model, as individuals ages 0 to 24 make up over 60% of the population and can be seen by looking at the population pyramid. Rwanda was the target for our service project because of the rich history of genocide and country separation. Back in the 1900s, Rwanda's people were split into two main groups, the Hutus and the Tutsis. Motivated by their colonizers, the Tutsis were given many privileges that the Hutus were not, including government and management positions, land, and more money for the same jobs. The Rwanda genocide had a death toll of about 2 million people, and the effects of the segregation are still felt today. Our plan is to hopefully bring some kind of unity to the people in Rwanda by building this community center. Beginning in 1986, Rwanda became one of the first countries in the world to address its growing HIV and AIDS epidemic. Groups such as Red Cross and the National AIDS Program began providing Rwanda with aid in the late 80s, but was largely ineffective as the infrastructure of the country was completely destroyed during the civil war that lasted from roughly 1990 to 1994. Over 4 million Rwandese were displaced, and the national health infrastructure had basically diminished. Since the genocide, efforts to combat HIV and AIDS has increased dramatically, and groups such as the Global Fund, the World Bank, and the U.S. government began to provide funds and resources to fight the epidemic. Since the end of the genocide, over 226 sites have been developed offering counseling and testing. Prevention of mother-to-child transmission has developed 208 sites, as well as 83 sites offering antiretroviral therapy, which is one of the leading methods for treating HIV and AIDS. Our organization, Students Aiding Rwanda, has been granted $5 million to help tackle the health issues facing Rwanda. We plan on using $1 million to build a state-of-the-art facility. We roughly estimate to use about $3 million to initiate HIV treatment over the duration of the next few years. The remaining $1 million will be used to pay doctors who help this cause. Specific intentions include raising awareness using contraceptives such as condoms and birth control, decreasing the number of children born with an infection, which is currently 1,000 per year, educate and train people on how to deliver newborns properly, lower the yearly new infection rate, which is currently 6,000 children per year, encourage school attendance for young children due to a high population of people under 25, and work with government officials to focus on educating women, which is especially important because 65% of parliament seats are filled by women in Rwanda. Rwanda has had a lack of investment in long-term solutions, and rather, companies have been trying to implement short-term stopgaps in their place. Our project proposal would plan to provide a long-term solution for family planning and contraceptives. We plan to construct a community center in Kigali, which is Rwanda's capital, that will be able to provide education on contraceptives and family planning to the locals who need it. According to UNAIDS, HIV and AIDS has a prevalence of about 3.2%, and 200,000 people are currently living with the disease. But HIV prevalence among pregnant women in Kigali is roughly 21 to 33%. This can be attributed to the low 51.6% contraceptive prevalence rate, meaning a little over half of women with reproductive age require men to use some form of contraceptive. HIV can be prevented when a woman gives birth if proper precautions are in place. Our community center would offer these services along with educating young women and men about the importance of contraceptives and keeping families small. We would be able to provide methods of birth control and preach the importance of them. We know that this development idea can cause some issues within the country. Some implications of creating these centers and implementing these new practices can conflict with cultural and religious beliefs. People are very hesitant to change, and familiarity is what helps those in developing countries survive. However, the Rwanda parliament is composed of 64% women, and due to that high percentage, our proposal will be more effective due to the fact that we are appealing mostly to a female audience. If we talked more about how this proposal will affect the Rwanda health in a positive way rather than focusing on tradition, our proposal seems much more plausible. We consider Rwanda to be rich in history and in need of benefits which locals can use, which is why our mission statement is aiming to educate out of a community center in Rwanda about improving health and family planning. Student Aid in Rwanda is dedicated to the well-being of the locals in Rwanda, and through this community center we will be able to educate people on contraceptives, keeping families small, and helping to prevent the spread of HIV and AIDS. Although this country has been deeply divided for decades, we believe that through essential universal medical treatment, we may be able to help combat HIV and AIDS, therefore increasing the standard of life in this area of Rwanda, regardless of the ethnic background.